Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. So this week we're going to talk about remote work. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. I managed to upset a few people with my thoughts on it, so why not? Bring it to all of you. Okay, so before we jump in, I do want to call out something I think is important to understand. A lot of our frustration, not always, sometimes we are genuinely mad at the right things because things are ridiculous, and I get that. But in many cases, our frustration stems from a lack of clarity, a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge. And I don't say any of those in like a negative finger pointing kind of way. I'm simply saying if you don't know something, if you haven't experienced it, learned it, asked about it, researched it, then yeah, it's entirely possible that the answers are going to frustrate you because you don't have the inside knowledge, expertise, experience, whatever, to make it make sense. That's okay. We go get the knowledge, we go get the insight, we do talk to the experts so that we can understand and that we can form a final decision on whether or not this is really something to be mad about. Sometimes it is, many times it's not. For example, here's a fun fact about me. Maybe I'll use it in a future icebreaker. I have never in my life solved a Rubik's Cube. It's a true story. Not one time, not in all the years that I've had access to Rubik's Cube, have I actually solved one. And I would get so mad. I'd be turning the sections and trying to just, I could not figure it out. And then there's these videos of people doing it in like 3 seconds. I'm like, what is happening? How do they do that? Come to find out, randomly scrolling through YouTube or something earlier this week, and I'll be damned, there is a video showing you the pattern and which sections to turn in what order. Boom, Rubik's Cube solved. I spent how many years angry about this when I could have just watched a video that explained it? Your job search might be the same. You're spending how many months, weeks, years, whatever, frustrated about your job search when you can just watch these videos? Just saying. But in all seriousness, if you understand how something works, it can bring clarity to your job search, to your career, to whatever. And that clarity can also help you understand where to spend your time and your emotional energy. Okay? Because that's what I want for you. I want you to spend your time and energy on the right things, the things that are going to move you forward, the things that are going to get you the outcomes that you're looking for. I don't want you spinning your wheels and getting mad over misunderstandings and misconceptions. Remote work, friends, is one of those things. It is. So let me explain. When we say remote from a talent acquisition perspective, we mean not tied to an office. That's it. That is the like baseline, fundamental definition of remote. Now, under that umbrella, there are lots of variables there. In fact, I drew y'all a picture. This is my remote umbrella. It's not the first time I've tried to make this video, as you can tell. Getting a little punch drunk over here, okay? But remote covers a lot. Now, this is specific to like employees, okay? So I specifically said W-2 employees. This is a US-based perspective. Your mileage in other parts of the world may vary greatly. I am not familiar with employment laws in Europe or Asia or the North Pole or any of those places. Okay, so there could be some variations there. You absolutely should ask the recruiters in your life, and certainly at the companies you want to work for, how does this work? What does it mean to be remote? What is virtual? What is hybrid? Blah, blah, blah. So, but we all need to like collectively wrap our heads around the fact that remote from a recruiting point of view simply indicates that you are not tied to a specific office. Now, that said, there's a lot of variables here, right? It could be a work from home job. That kind of indicates that you have some sort of maybe dedicated space, or you're at least logging in every day from your kitchen table or whatever, right? So you're working from the same location, your home, whatever that might mean. We also have work from anywhere. This is more rare, y'all, especially for employees. You see this all the time. Contractors, 1099 folks, self-employed, solopreneurs, whatever. Y'all can do what you like. You're paying taxes in an entirely different way than I am as a W-2 employee. So nobody cares where you sit. They care very much where I sit because they want to charge me for it. Okay, so that's why that comes into place. We also then can have, even in a work from home or remote friendly environment, we may have some restrictions around specific geographies. And a lot of times that is by state. Could be by city, could be by county, could be by metro area. Different companies are going to set this up a little differently depending on just how their business is structured. But understand that a lot of times it is going to mean a particular area where that company is authorized to do business. Payroll taxes, unemployment insurance, workers' comp insurance. There are so many employee-related costs assigned or aligned to people who don't work in an office or who work anywhere, really. I mean, that's any employee. And so you have to, like, the company has to actually be able to do business in that location for them to hire you in that location. You tracking? I hope this is clear. I could draw more pictures, but I'm really not a very good artist. But that's why we have these restrictions a lot. A lot of people are like, oh, they just want to like police you and monitor you. Look, if they're talking about like putting cameras in your house and you got to use one of those mouse jiggler things, then yeah, then there's maybe some kind of control freak action happening here. I don't know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual being able to work from different locations. Now, there are going to be companies that may have something that we call work from anywhere periods. So I've heard of these where they may say, hey, for 1 month out of the year, or 20 working days or 15 calendar, whatever, you can work from anywhere. Like, just let your boss know that you're going to be on the beach in Bali and you're not going to be expected to work hybrid or check into the office or do whatever, right? So that's sometimes an option as well. But that's really, when we talk about remote, this is what we're talking about. It's usually one of these things. There may be a lot of variations in between, but generally speaking, remote simply means you are not tied to a specific business location. What about hybrid? Hybrid, in my opinion, means a split between virtual/remote and in office. I've seen a lot of complaints that 4 days a week in the office and 1 day remote is not hybrid. Then what is it, geniuses? I mean, I get it, 1 day a week, it's just not what you would like, I suppose. But it's technically a division between some days remote, some days in office. 3-2 is a lot more common. A lot of companies are doing a 3-day in office week, 2 days at home, whatever. I'm on that schedule. I go into the office 3 days a week and I get to pick those days. So there's some really cool, companies, even companies who've had these mandates have built in some flexibility, which I appreciate. Okay. Sidebar, I know we're really close to our 10-minute goal. When am I ever under 10 minutes? Who am I kidding? But I have really had to learn to adjust to that model. I work really well at home. I have a dedicated home office, as y'all know. I have a door I can close. It's quiet. It's, I don't have interruptions, right? And I need that. Like my neurodivergent brain, I don't do well in like open spaces and open office. Agile seating would be the death of me. I'm very fortunate I have a dedicated desk because I need my space. I need my little tchotchkes and my little things and my little fidgets and my, I need those things because that's how I work. I need, like, I twitch a lot and we won't get into all of that. I don't really talk about my brain chemistry so much. A lot of people are like living their diagnosis out loud. I'm not one of those people, but just know I understand. Okay, I get it. Something else that I do in the office, I wear headphones all day, every day. My coworkers are like, are you on the phone? Because I just have my headphones on the whole time. And that is by design. That is my way of blocking those sensory inputs that will distract me. One of the things I loved about working at Microsoft, not only were we really flexible on working from home days or whatever, you just kind of came in when you felt like it, we had offices with doors. Shut the door. Turn the lights off. Noise canceling headphones, the whole thing. So I've had to kind of figure out, understanding how remote works and understanding what hybrid looks like and understanding that there's going to be certain things I may not love, but that I have to do as a requirement for my job. I have had to figure out some coping mechanisms and some ways to just navigate, how to be my best self, how to work effectively under some of those circumstances. So that's what I would recommend for you, friends. Okay. I want y'all to understand, what does remote mean from a talent acquisition perspective. Please, please, please do ask the recruiters or the hiring managers or whoever at the companies that you want to work for. Help me understand, what does this mean? You have this role listed as virtual, Seattle. What does that mean? I live in Redmond. Can I still work there, right? Like, it's okay to get that clarity. Companies do owe you that much to be really upfront and honest about what they are looking for in a remote or virtual or hybrid workforce. And final thought on this, friends, don't sleep on accommodations. Okay? Now, these are obviously no guarantees. Every company is going to look at this a little bit differently. You're going to have to really ask questions and explore what this might mean for you. But something that helped me tremendously when my mom was dying. She was in hospice, living with us. Many of you know that. She passed away December 30th of last year. And those last few months of her life, she was completely dependent on me. I was up every 2 hours, medicating and helping her move physically, helping her with all of the, bodily functions, everything. And I couldn't go to work. I couldn't leave her. My family is here, my husband, my kids are here. They could not because they didn't love her, but they could not provide that intense level of personal care. I had to be the one to do that. And so I talked to my manager, I talked to my HR department, I explained, this is why coming into the office doesn't work for me right now. No problem. Immediately got an accommodation. And it was for a period of time, it was like, okay, we're going to give you, I can't remember, I think it was like 3 or 6 months or something. And, we'll revisit when this accommodation is expiring. We'll talk again, see where you're at. So I really appreciated that because, again, all of us have different things. You might have your own medical diagnosis thing going on. You might need accommodations of a certain kind. Whether that's fully remote, whether that's, again, dedicated workspace, office with a door, whatever it might be. But understanding that we all work differently, we can ask those questions. So companies absolutely have the right to design the workforce that they believe works for them. Could be in office, could be remote, could be hybrid, could be whatever. You absolutely, as the job seeker and potential employee, have the right to understand what's expected and what can be accommodated based on my needs. Something to think about, okay? But I'm just going to leave you with this final thought. There's a lot of things that we can get worked up about, and we can get mad about, and we can yell about. But if we just step back, take the emotion out of it, ask questions, and seek to understand, that Rubik's Cube might just fall into place. All right, friends. I hope that helps. It was a long one. We went way over what I thought we were going to talk about. Little extra tidbits in there for you, which I hope you found helpful. We'll see you next week.